Hello everyone. Today, we'll be seeing how fast Beautifly can beat Pokemon Sapphire in a solo run challenge. Let's get straight into the video. In the previous video, we did Pokemon Sapphire with Dustox, and that ended up being one of the worst Pokemon I've ever done. But will Beautifly be able to make up for this regional bug-type duo? I'm not so sure. I don't know if you can see, but I am pressing the X button on my controller to doubt. And if you're wondering why I'm doubting, we need to look at this thing's stats. We have 60 HP, 70 attack, 50 defense, 90 special attack, 50 special defense, and 65 speed. We are in the medium fast experience group just like Dustox was, so there's not really an issue there. And we have the same speed stat as well. However, Beautifly is actually the more offensive of the two. So why am I doubting that this is going to do better? Because generally speaking, offensive Pokemon tend to play better. Well, here's my reasoning. We need to take a look at its move pool. At level 1, our starting move is Absorb, a 20 power grass type healing move. Absorb is way worse of a starting move than Confusion was. And then at level 13 we get Gust, just like Dustox did. And then throughout the levels we get Stun Spore, Morning Sun at level 20, then Mega Drain, Whirlwind, Attract, Silver Wind at level 34, which is going to be an MVP for this Pokemon. And then level 38 we get Giga Drain. And then throughout the TMs we get similar coverage to Dustox. We get Hidden Power, then Giga Drain and Solar Beam. We can use Sunny Day if we want to pair it with Solar Beam or Morning Sun. And then we also get Return, Psychic, Shadow Ball, and Aerial Ace. We also get Thief as well, and Thief is going to actually come in handy for this run. So yeah, we get the exact same coverage, except we get Absorb and Mega Drain and Giga Drain, instead of Confusion, Psybeam, then Psychic. So yeah, that is going to be bad, but at least we get it by TM. But the problem is the TM is all the way in Victory Road, unless we decide to buy it at the game corner, which we are definitely going to do. But for now though, we need to just talk about the early game, because this is not fun. In fact, this isn't even my first playthrough. This is my 4th attempted playthrough with this thing, because I do need to actually buy the TM for Psychic for Watson before I can take him on. And the TM for Psychic costs 3,500 coins, which is 70,000 Pokédollars. Axew Kairisora, who helps me with these runs and routing, he was able to come up with a general plan to afford $70,000. But here's the problem though. In Ruby and Sapphire, since there are less trainers to fight, getting that amount of money is actually a lot more difficult than if it was just Pokemon Emerald. In Pokemon Emerald, it'd be a lot easier to farm money. In fact, I think Beautifly might actually have a better time in Emerald because of it, although I am not willing to test that. You'll have to get somebody else to do it. Not me though. Don't even try asking. But anyway, I want to show in the background here, I'm fighting the rival. You notice I have Struggle. It is literally impossible to take out that Torchic with Absorb, so I actually have to get Struggle just to take on the rival fight. And then I can heal at the center after I get my Pokeballs. And then for these trainers on Route 102, I can defeat them with Absorb. Youngster Calvin's pretty easy, but then on this Bug Catcher, I gotta use up all the rest of my Absorbs. That's fine though, cause there's not much they can do, and the reason I have to get Struggle again is because the next trainer has a Tailo, and obviously I'm not gonna be using Absorb on it, that's just a dumb idea. And then with the rest of the trainers here defeated, the main plan, I need to skip all the optional battles leading up to Roxanne, because the plan is to do as much blackout training on Roxanne as possible, because having just Absorb, even with our high special attack, is not going to be enough. In fact, Absorb doesn't even guarantee a one-shot on Geodude until level 23. That's how bad Absorb is on this thing. However though, we can just rely on it missing Rock Tomb or Rock Throw in order to allow us to defeat it. And the reason I have to skip trainers is because since we're going to be doing blackout grinding on Roxanne, we're going to lose all the money we have. So if we can get that money after Roxanne, that'll be preferable. And I also need to skip the 2 rich trainers here. Winston, and Cindy, because their Zigzagoons are holding nuggets, and this thing can learn Thief, so I can come back there later and steal their nuggets for an easy $10,000. Fun fact, in Pokemon Emerald, there's actually 2 more rich trainers on Route 116 to the east of Rustboro, but you need Cut for them. So if this was Emerald, I'd get $20,000 worth of nuggets instead of $10,000. So that's why I said getting the money in Emerald would actually be a lot easier than this. But anyway, why don't we go start our blackout training session on Roxanne. I do grind in the wild, mainly inside of the Whismer Tunnel, in order to get to level 16, and so that way on the Geodude, I have a pretty consistent chance of one-shotting it. In fact, starting at level 17 is when I can guarantee the one-shot. I may have said 23 earlier, but no, that's the Nose Pass with Mega Drain, and I don't get Mega Drain until level 17. So there is a great chance that I'm going to have to blackout train until I can get Mega Drain to reliably two-shot the Nose Pass. And unfortunately, unlike Dustox, I don't really get lucky here, because even at level 16, the Geodude can still finish me off. But one of the advantages of blackout training here is that the Geodude gives defense EVs, and I do get to keep EVs whenever I lose, so I'm still slowly building my defenses up. It takes me until 27 minutes into the run. I am at level 20. I now have Stun Spore and Morning Sun, and I am fortunately able to get the luck needed to defeat the Nose Pass with Absorb. Okay, did I seriously say it gets Mega Drain at level 17? Yeah, I'm sorry, that was Morning Sun, my bad. Yeah, I do not memorize movesets that well. That's why I put them on the screen at the start of the video, so in case I ever get something wrong, if I don't catch it, at least you guys will know, because you at least got to saw the moveset. And now with Roxanne defeated, I get $1,500 for beating her, and starting now is when I need to start saving up $70,000. Fortunately, all the money I had before her I spent on potions and repels, so I don't need to worry about that for now. So now I need to fight all of the optional trainers I skipped, except for the 2 rich trainers, because I need to come back here with Thief later to steal their nuggets. And then after I return the Devon goods, I go through the Petalburg Forest. I actually pick up a few tiny mushrooms. Tiny mushrooms can actually sell for some decent money for how easy they are to get. And then I can take the ship down to Dewford Town. And now we ask the age-old question, do we fight Brawly now or skip him later? We don't learn Bulk Up, which is the TM he gives, but we do have a super effective move in Gust. And just like with Dustox, we are going to quad resist fighting moves. So it's a no-brainer. We need to take on Brawly right now. And besides, he gives us money. He leads off with his Machop. Since Gust is a physical move in this game because it's a flying move, theoretically the Machop in Makuhita could waste my time with Bulk Up, but on the first Machop I just get a critical hit, and then on the Makuhita I almost one-shot it. It wastes its turn with Bulk Up as Brawly starts spamming Super Potions. But fortunately though, they aren't going to really help him at all, and I end up beating Brawly at no damage taken. He never once hit me. So yeah, he was pretty easy. So now I can take this ship over to Slateport City and begin fighting all of the trainers. Yeah, I need everybody's money. Open up everyone, give me all your money. I do all the trainers leading up to the rival, I do all the trainers leading up to Mauville City, and then I fight all the trainers to the east, I fight the Winstrade family, I fight everybody to the west, I defeat the trainers in Verdendorf Town, in addition to picking up some valuable items, such as this HP up right here. And also with Thief on my Learn set, I do eventually go back to Route 104 and go use Thief on the 2 rich trainers and steal their nuggets. So now, at 58 minutes into the run, I am defeating the last of Watson's gym trainers. And as soon as I beat them, I will get $70,000, and then I can finally get the TM for Psychic. You may be wondering if doing all of this was worth it. Trust me, it 100% is. Why don't we go show off the first attempt at Watson? And believe it or not, I'm blackout training here too until I win, because this fight is brutally rough. He leads off with his Magnemite. What I want to do right away is to use Silver Wind to try and get an Omni boost as quick as I can. Sadly, I sold the Macho Brace to afford Psychic, so I can't do the strategy I came up with during the Dustox battle of intentionally holding it to make myself slower than Magnemite to reduce the chances of Thunder Wave. But besides, Beautifly actually has pretty decent speed, so I think even with the Macho Brace, there's a chance I still outspeed anyway. But I do end up having a Cherry Berry for this fight. I just need to get lucky. Like, for example, if I can get a crit on the Magnemite, I can move on to the rest of his team without getting paralyzed. But even if I get paralyzed, at least I have Morning Sun to heal the HP that I lose. So at least I have the recipe for success, I just need to actually achieve it. And I defeat his Magneton at 1 hour and 2 minutes on the clock. So it does take a few tries, but it didn't take too many. And now with one of the worst spots in the game behind us, we can go ahead and actually do some easier battles now, but we're still nowhere near the end. Things are still gonna get quite bad, just not right away. I fight the trainers leading up to Fall Arbor Town, enter Meteor Falls, get the HM for strength, climb the cable car, no hiker today, and now we've got to go take on Archie. I do have Silverwind for this fight, which should theoretically make this fight easy because his Mightyena and Sharpedo are weak to it, but the problem is, with Mightyena using Intimidate right away, Silverwind is unable to get the one-shot, and I do get hit with Sand Attack. Uh-oh. Fortunately, I don't miss, and he just wastes his time with a Super Potion, and on the second Silverwind, I get the boost. And now that I've gotten the boost, I can go ahead and one-shot the Golbat with Psychic, and then I can use Silverwind on the Sharpedo. Sadly, the Omni boosts do not affect accuracy, so I still have the Sand Attack up, but fortunately I don't end up missing. Now, we need to go take on the Fire-type gym leader Flannery. I said in the previous video she's one of the worst gym leaders, but I should rephrase this. She's one of the worst unless you're weak to fire. So let's go take on Flannery. Theoretically, if I'm not going to have a problem with Steven Stone and I don't need Hidden Power Fire, Hidden Power Water is technically an option to deal with her Pokemon and one-shot everything, but I'm not going to have that luxury today. The main plan for this fight is to one-shot her first 2 Slugmas with Psychic, and then on the Torkoal, I can use Psychic to deal half and then Overheat one-shots me. One of the alternative strats I could do is try and use Silverwind on the Slugma to get an Omni boost, and then I can probably one-shot the Torkoal, but the problem is, if Psychic is only doing half, there is no way +1 will knock it out. I may need a +2 for that. Plus, what made this fight somewhat easy for Dustox was that Dustox could learn Light Screen by level up, and the TM for Light Screen is all the way at the department store in Lily Cove City, so I don't have access to it for this fight, even if I could learn it. So what I'm basically doing is I'm just resetting at this fight over and over again until I get an Overheat miss or a Psychic crit, which does end up happening after quite a few resets. But that's the way I have to win this fight. And now the reset counter is going over the Pokemon. I do fix this at some point. And then in the desert route, I go ahead and get the rare candy. I do not buy any vitamins today because I spent all of my money on Psychic. So let's just go skip straight ahead to the 5th gym leader, Norman. My moveset for this fight is Psychic, Giga Drain, which I learned at level 38, Silverwind, and the TM for Attract. I got the TM for Attract in Verdendorf Town. This was the only thing I got that I purposefully did not sell, because I knew I was going to need it for this fight. While theoretically I could have just learned it by level up, but I would have had to delete an early move that I still needed. So the overall game plan here, use Attract on the Slacking, try and get 1 Omni boost, but funnily enough, I actually crit the Slacking with Silverwind instead of getting a boost, and because of no boost, his Vigoroth is able to knock me out for a reset. On the second try, I'm able to get the Omni Boost, and then Psychic just does good work to his team. If you guys aren't liking the amount of fights I have to rely on Omni Boosts, this is literally Beautifly's only hope. This thing just sucks. With Norman defeated, I go ahead and surf in the water and catch myself a Meryl for Strength, Dive, and Waterfall, and then I can head my way back to Mauville City, defeat everybody in the Weather Institute, completely destroy the rival, and now I can get myself the TM for Hidden Power. I didn't buy this in Slateport because I did not have the money to do so, and besides, I don't really need Hidden Power until Winona. So let's go ahead and use this move on her as the 6th gym leader. She leads off with her level 31 Swellow. I have Hidden Power Fire on my moveset. It hits me with Aerial Ace, and then Psychic makes it live, and because it outspeeds me, it hits me with Aerial Ace again, and now I'm in red health. I did think of this ahead of time, and I did equip a Citrus Berry to heal 30 HP. Then on the Pelipper, I just try and use some Giga Drains to get some health back, and unfortunately it hits me with Supersonic, causing me to hit myself, fortunately only once. But then when I was able to hit, it used Protect, and then I hit myself in Confusion an additional 2 times, so I decide to just reset right away. On the next attempt, Winona stacks up some double teams, Psychic isn't able to one-shot, and because of that she uses Endeavor, causing my HP to become the same value as her HP, and obviously that's just sort of unacceptable, but on this attempt though, I decide to just roll with it. I get back to the Pelipper, I try and set up some Giga Drains, but then the thing crits me with Aerial Ace, so now I'm at 8 HP going into the Altaria. I use Psychic, only doing a third, and then Dragon Breath knocks me out. The Attract strat isn't going to work here because all of our Pokemon are female, but I do surprisingly get to the Altaria at full HP this time, so I'm able to defeat it and get to the Skarmory, where Aerial Ace from the Skarmory surprisingly did a lot of damage, but with Hidden Power Fire, I'm able to 2-shot it and get myself the 6th badge. Yeah, these gyms are not going great. The only free gym leader I've had so far was literally Brawly, which is insane to think about. But funnily enough though, we're not done with the hard gym leaders. The next gym is going to be Tate and Liza, which is not going to be good. I head my way to Lily Cove City, defeat the rival in front of the department store for decent XP, and then inside of Mount Pyre, I can get myself the TM for Shadow Ball, and if I go down a floor, I can get the Lax Incense. This thing is a clone of the Bright Powder, and it gives the opponent's moves a 10% chance to miss, except for moves like Aerial Ace, of course. So moves like Water Gun will be 90% accurate. I don't really have any other better held items, so I just hold this just in case I get a Mimi troll moment. And then I have to go in the Aqua Hideout, get the Max Elixir right here, destroy Matt, and then now we are in Moss Deep City. Obviously, I'm going to do a lot more training than I currently have. So I do a bunch of trainers leading up to Pacific Logtown, I get myself the rare candy, and I end up fighting the 5 Gyarados guy. Unfortunately, he's in a different spot compared to Pokemon Emerald, and funnily enough, he actually leads with his Gyarados and his Magikarp is last, which is kind of weird. But fortunately, he's still in this game, and I'm able to defeat his Gyaradoses for massive experience yields, and now we can go back to Moss Deep City and fight Tate and Liza. I enter the Tate and Liza battle at level 46. My moveset is still the exact same as during the Winona fight. On the first turn, I use Giga Drain on the Lunatone doing half, and then the Lunatone puts me to sleep with Hypnosis, so I just reset right away. On the next attempt, I do the exact same thing again, and then Giga Drain gets a low roll and it does less than half, and then the thing puts me to sleep again. Dude, I don't know what it is about these two in Ruby and Sapphire, but I swear this Lunatone uses Hypnosis far more often in this game. I can't prove it, but that's what it really feels like. Then on the third attempt, it uses Calm Mind instead, and now they're going after my HM users. Sadly, I'm still going to have to use Giga Drain on him, and since it's not a reliable 2-shot at all, they are able to get some heals in. Theoretically, I could have held on to the Miracle Seed and used it for this fight, but I highly doubt a 10% boost would have been enough here. I do come up with a better strategy though. I end up leaving the gym to get a heart scale, and then I can relearn Silverwind. The reason I didn't have Silverwind going into this fight was because Axew didn't originally plan for me to have it because he assumed Giga Drain would have been enough, and that is a safe thing to assume, but I think it would have been better if I had actually had some calciums, because I only have 49 special attack EVs. I think if I had had the vitamin threshold of 100, I think Giga Drain would have been enough. But since it wasn't, I can just use Silverwind to consistently 2-shot both of them, and even though I do not get a boost, I am still able to win against them. Even though that was a suboptimal Tate and Liza battle, I am not doing this run ever again. This thing was pure painful. The next major battle is in the seafloor cavern with Archie. Dustox had some issues with Archie, mainly because of his Crobat, and Beautifly definitely had an issue. I end up fainting to him. I forgot to save, so I have to black out all of my Pokemon, get all the way back to Moss Deep City, go all the way through the cave again just to come back to him and try again. And some good tidings is that I am able to beat him on the second attempt at him. So now I can head to Satopolis, run away from the Kyogre pretty easily, and now we can go take on the 8th gym leader, Wallace. He leads off with his Love Disc. My moveset has been the same for quite a while, but now my plan is to use a Silverwind or 2 on it to try and get an Omni Boost. Sadly, I don't get any on the first 2, and then on the Celio, I realized I'm out of Silverwinds, so I decided to just switch over to Giga Drain since I'm just going to have to give up on getting the boost. I defeat the Celio, then on the Milotic, Giga Drain only does a third, and then Ice Beam knocks me out due to a critical hit. I think I know what the answer here is. I need to just try to get an Omni Boost on the Love Disc. And since I only have 2 Silverwinds, those are the only Silverwinds I can use to try and get a boost. Theoretically, I could have just used the Lepa Berry to get more power points. I don't think it really mattered though, because if I have to get to the Celio and I don't have a boost, he can just use an Ice move on me and just destroy me. So if I need the boost, I need to get it on his Love Disc, which ends up taking a surprising amount of tries, but 33 resets into the run, yeah, 33. This run is extremely bad. I am able to get the Omni Boost, and then Milotic takes quite a lot of hits with Giga Drain in order to knock out, but once it's knocked out, I can use a Giga Drain on the Wish Cache, and then defeat his Sea King in 1 hit with Psychic. And then I can use Giga Drain on it. It barely lives somehow. I'm out of Giga Drain, so I need to switch over to Psychic. I think Psychic might one-shot. It does thanks to a crit. So yep, now we have all 8 gym badges. However though, there are still some major threats coming up. Like there haven't been enough in this run. In fact, in Victory Road, as I was fighting this cool trainer right here, I get burned due to Will-O-Wisp, and I end up blacking out and going all the way back to Moss Deep City. So now I have to go back into Victory Road and then go fight that guy again. Dude, so now because of that paranoia, I'm now saving before pretty much every trainer in Victory Road. And I also get the TM for Psychic while here, just in case I ever need to unlearn the move. I don't think I end up unlearning it, but you never know. And now at the very end of the cave, I can take on Wally. Dustox had quite a few problems at this fight last time, and hopefully I won't have those issues. On his Altaria, I go ahead and use an Attract right away. He uses a Dragon Dance, but fortunately my 2nd Psychic and my 3rd Psychic are able to knock it out. And then on the Magneton, I realize I don't really have a good solution for him, so I use Giga Drain only doing a quarter. Psychic does do a bit more, but I do get confused with Supersonic, and then with Giga Drain, it leaves it in red health, and then Thunderbolt does some incredibly crippling damage. And fortunately, I can defeat it and get to his Delcatty, one-shot it with Psychic thanks to a crit, and then on the Gardevoir, I use Silverwind for the one-shot. Okay. Last up is his Roselia. Obviously, Psychic will take care of it, So that was a pretty dang close fight. Man, I did not think Wally was going to be good in these runs, but then again, I was using incredibly bad bug types. So now, Beautifly needs to do a lot of training. In fact, my original method of training for the league was to blackout train against Sydney, just like with Dustox. But the problem is, due to Intimidate, Silverwind is a 3-shot on his Mightyena. I can barely beat his Mightyena half the time. So it ends up being really slow, and I just found out that the most efficient way for Beautifly to train is just to fight wild Pokemon in Victory Road. I continue fighting wild Pokemon here until level 61, which takes quite a while. And then I can head into the Shoal Cave, get a rare candy I didn't even know existed. Axew, who I was in the Discord with streaming this run. I stream all my runs early in my Discord, by the way, if you want to join. He suggested that there was a rare candy in Shoal Cave. I never got this one in here because I always assumed it was during low tide where I couldn't get it. But he said I could get it during high tide. And due to the clock I always set at the start of this run, I basically set it to the default 10 a.m. It's always going to be high tide, so I can get it pretty much every run if I want to. And now that I know this information, I can use all of my rare candies to get to level 73, which is a few levels lower than Axew suggested originally, but I think this will do just fine, although I do wish I had some calcium. So now, let's go take on the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit. Sydney leads off with his Mightyena. It uses Intimidate to lower my attack, which causes it to survive a Silverwind, but that's fine. It didn't use Sand Attack, and it gives me more chances for an Omni Boost, which the second Silverwind actually does get me. So then I can defeat it with Giga Drain, and then next up is the Absol. I continue spamming Giga Drain. It makes it live in red health, but fortunately due to his Citrus Berry, it prevents it from being in full restore range, and then Silverwind can one-shot the Cacturn, the Sharpedo, and the Shiftry. Well, that was easy. Next up is the Ghost-type Elite Four member, Phoebe. I don't have Shadow Ball for my first attempt here, so what I do is I try and use a Silverwind to see if I can get a boost. I don't, but then fortunately Psychic is able to defeat it. That's good. That first Dusclops has Curse. Fortunately the second one doesn't, and even if it did, I one-shot it with a crit anyway. And then on the Banette, it hits me with Will-O-Wisp, which isn't that big a deal because I'm not using physical moves. Well, I guess Silverwind's a physical move, and the Sableye barely takes any damage because of it, so I do have to reset and try again. On the next attempt, I just use Psychic right away, it lives, and it hits me with Curse. Yeah, I figured. It does take a few tries, but at 35 resets in, I am able to defeat Phoebe. Next up is the Ice-type Elite Four member, Glacia. Glacia leads off with her Galele. I go ahead turn 1, use a Silverwind doing half. It uses Hail instead of Ice Beam, fortunately. I use another Silverwind, no boosts. And then on the Celio, I use Giga Drain, allowing it to live in red health. Yeah, I think I should have trained in Victory Road for at least a few more levels, because if I was level 75 coming into this, I probably could have one-shot these, or at least had a decent range of doing so. I am able to knock out the Celio eventually, and then I can knock out the second one as well. Then on the Galele, I use Psychic doing over half, Ice Beam does over half, and then it freezes me. So yeah, that's an obvious loss. I'm not going to bother talking about most of these failed attempts. I get resets at pretty much everybody in the league. This Pokemon is very bad. In fact, when I said that Beautifly might do better because it's more offensive, this thing's on track to do worse than Dustox, which is the defensive one. But dang, let's just continue the run and see. Next up is the Dragon-type Elite Four member, Drake. He leads off with his Shelgon, and the main plan here is, it's gonna survive 2 silver wins. The goal is to get 1 boost, and if I get hit with 2 rock tombs, I immediately reset. If I get hit with 1 rock tomb, I'm pretty sure I can still outspeed everything but the Salamence. But when I get the Omni boost, it'll just cancel out the 1 rock tomb anyway. But if I get hit with a second one, I am going to immediately reset. And once I eventually get the Omni boost, using Psychic and Giga Drain, I am able to defeat his team quite easily. So now, we are on to what is the hardest battle in the entire league. We have to take on Steven Stone. I'm going to go over how my first attempt here went. He leads off with his Skarmory. I right away go for Attract, and now the plan is I'm going to get off as many silver wins as I can, and then I get hit with Toxic, giving me an immediate loss. On the next attempt, I go back into using the Attract Silver Wind strat with a Pecha Berry this time, so just in case I get Toxic, I can heal up right away. The plan here is, I need to get an Omni boost, but here's the thing. Throughout all of these runs, this Steven fight takes a lot of resets. I'm not going to show all of them, but I will end up skipping to the final attempt. In fact, my overall best strategy is to get 2 Omni boosts, because at this level I am at, level 75, 1 Omni boost doesn't even guarantee the one-shots on some of his Pokemon with Giga Drain and Hidden Power Fire. So if I had come into this Steven fight at level 78, like if I had done more training in Victory Road, I definitely would not have this hard of a time, and 1 Omni boost would just be enough. But nope, I need 2 Omni boosts. But if I get 1 Omni boost, then I can probably luck my way through it. But that definitely doesn't end up happening. In fact, my reset counter from now to the winning attempt goes all the way to 61. I'm able to get the Silver Wind Omni boost on the Skarmory. I use up the rest of my Silver Wind, see if I can get another boost. Sadly I don't, but I do have 2 more instances of Silver Wind left. Then on the Claydol, I can one-shot it with Giga Drain. Sometimes at +1 it's not a one-shot. Then on the Cradily, I use a Silver Wind. It almost one-shots it, but not quite. And now I can use a Giga Drain to get some health back. And I should have used my second Silver Wind to see if I could get another boost, but oh well. Then on the Armaldo, I go ahead and use Silver Wind doing over half, and for some forsaken reason he used Slash instead of Ancient Power. I think that alone gave me the win here, because that thing almost always went for Ancient Power, and that thing's attack stat is incredibly insane, and with me being 4 times weak to Rock, of course it's going to cause problems. And then his Aggron's easy, and then his Metagross with an Omni boost is a one-shot with Hidden Power Fire, and finally, Steven Stone is defeated, with a real time of 2 hours, 45 minutes, and 19 seconds, with 61 resets at level 76, with a game time of 6 hours and 55 minutes. Okay, right away with this Pokemon, we need to look at the leaderboard. This Pokemon, despite having a better attacking stat than Dustox, is actually 5 minutes worse, even though it has only 40 more resets. And interestingly enough, even though Dustox had way fewer resets, it was still able to get the faster time. I mean, yeah, obviously more resets equals more time, but a difference of 5 minutes should not equal 40 resets. I think the reason for this is because while Dustox needed to use Silver Wind to get some Omni boosts here and there, Beautifly needed to rely on him for literally everybody in the Elite Four. And it just doesn't really work out that way. You're going to end up with a lot of very quick resets. And this Pokemon felt bad because of it. And if you look at the attempt counter, it says attempt number 4. Technically, this is my only completed run, but I had to quit 2 other runs an hour in because I struggled getting the money to afford the TM for Psychic. But that's why I'm treating this as run number 4. I do not want to play this run ever again. If I had to choose whether to play this again or Bastiodon in Pokemon Platinum, give me Pokemon Platinum. But yeah, anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this hellhole of a video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more, and be sure to follow me on my socials or support me through YouTube memberships. All YouTube members get access to all the patch files of all the solo run backports we do on stream, and they actually get all of these videos up to 1 or 2 weeks early than scheduled. So if you want early videos and free patch files, please become a member today. Next week, we are going to be doing Pokemon Red version. I was originally going to do Pokemon Pearl next week, but due to some tech issues, I had to swap that to the week after. So next week, we're doing Pokemon Red. We're going to be playing with Tauros and Kangaskhan, 2 normal type Pokemon that are only found in the Safari Zone. I will see you all in the next video.